You've got to have some scars if you want to be a poet. The weeds out of the garden, you got to hoe it. Possession with intent will get you 5 to 10. And everybody turns a bad trick now and then. Everybody turns a bad trick now and then. Ray Wiley Hubbard, Chris Robinson, adding his voice to it. Incredible. The live stream of the Eric Zane Show podcast. This time around comes to you from Irvine's Auto Repair Grand Rapids Hybrid. They're the ones who keep my dad's truck in tip-top running shape. Okay? Servicing domestic, Asian, European models. Okay? Just about anything you could possibly want taken care of. You have a person that fixes cars. And it is the key sponsor of the Eric Zane Show podcast. 616-532-6600. That is their number. Irvines.com is the website. Reach out to them if you are in the West Michigan area. You can't miss it if you're headed along 44th Street. Well, there's a side street a couple blocks just east of 131 called Stafford. That's them. All right. Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid. They also take care of my Facebook page where this is happening live right now. A little bit of a late start, not too big of a deal. Facebook.com/Eric Zane fan page live every morning. Thank you to Irvine's. While I'm at it, A&D Cleaning reminds you that coming home to a clean home is, well, not that far off. If you're like my house, oh my God, the clutter festival. Holy crap. It's like everybody walks in the house and takes anything that's in their possession, keys, wallet, phone, jacket, hat, whatever it may be, and just sets it places. Yeah, honestly, my home would be actually pretty clean if people would stop like exploding when they walk into the house, for God's sake. But anyway, I completely digress. A&D Cleaning wants to clean your home. Reach out to Amy at 616-550-3644 to get your home cleaned from A&D Cleaning. And there's their dog. That is their dog, Daisy. Okay, wow. Here it is, the 6th of November, 2020.
True international effort to pressure.
The Eric Zane Show podcast begins now.
Yes, hello. Sean Gotti here, coming to you from Raleigh, North Carolina. And there's not a single radio show around here that's worth a damn. So I'm listening to the Eric Zane Show podcast, coming to you live Monday through Friday. So sit back, get your trays in the upright position, feet and elbows out of the aisle, because here he comes, Eric Zane.
Thank you very much, Sean. Appreciate you. Thanks again for checking it out. This is a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures. Monday through Friday right here, the Eric Zane Show podcast featured live at about the same time on Facebook. Also a Twitter joint Periscope video from Blue Frost IT and the almighty YouTube. Follow me on YouTube. Search Eric Zane Show. That's where I'm at. I'm on Instagram. That's brought to you by the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. And here we go. Another week pretty much in the books. What a week it's been. I've got so much to talk about. Wow. You know, and I pretty much made my living saying whatever I feel, pretty much picking up the pieces as I go if need be. And, well, it's going to continue today. I'll tell you that right now. You know, when you do what I do and you do basically go on your instinct, what you feel, what you think, and talk about it, you know, occasionally you're going to look back on it and go, boy, I shouldn't have said that. So I actually am quite measured in what I'm going to talk about today, and that I'll talk about the election quite a bit here. I have fuck, man, this is really terrible. This is the type of thing that's going on right now that makes me a little bit concerned about the days further down the road based on what the president did last night, which was complete horseshit. And I'm going to talk about that. And I want you to try, if you don't agree with me, and I'm sure a lot of you don't, just relax and let me finish and let me say my things. And don't freak out. Don't start a fight on the comments. Just listen. That's all I'm asking. And just understand my perspective. And now, my perspective really doesn't mean a whole hell of a lot. It's just an opinion. I'm just lucky enough to have people that pay attention to it and listen to it. So give me that as much as I would give you yours. So I have a lot to get to. But what a night last night. And not so much for that, because honestly, I'm slowly but surely detaching myself from the nonstop cycle of election coverage. Don't get me wrong. I'm not one of these. This is fuck. I'm just not going to pay attention. No, I'm absolutely going to pay attention. But I have to slowly but surely wean myself away from that, because the vibe that it's creating in my very clustered, full packed brain is not excellent. And I just don't want it. So when you go Betty by, and I lay my head down to sleep, I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. That's a beautiful prayer, by the way. Man, is there anything worse? And this happened to me last night. A nightmare that is just stone cold real. I mean, there's nothing preposterous about it. That was a nightmare that I had last night. So vividly real. Because how often will you be having a dream? And let's say you're having a dream that, I don't know, you walk in the door, you get home from work, and your whole family's slaughtered. Okay? Well, now I didn't have that dream, but let's just say in the dream world, dream protocol states that when you walk into the house in the dream and everybody's dead, there's a giant teddy bear that did the killing, because that's how dreams work. They're always just weirdo shit that happens. And then you realize, oh, well, this is a stupid ass dream. It's a little terrifying, but still, I know it's completely stupid and ridiculous, and I'm just going to roll over and go back to bed. Oh boy, I'm glad that my family's still alive, but I knew it wasn't legit because of the giant teddy bear that was destroying everybody. Okay. Well, the dream I had last night, son of a bitch, there was nothing ridiculous about it. It all seemed very, very on the up and up. And my God, it was so vivid and real that there was no going back to sleep. I actually woke from the dream at 5 a.m. And then I should have just gotten up and started my day, because, man, oh my God. And it was a perfect storm of horror. So I'm going to get into that. Another nightmare, the election. Not really. It's okay. This is just a really, really close election. Okay. I'm going to talk about that and the nonsense that went down with Trump. I've got audio. But I have to talk about the fact checks. I'm really going to unpack this right now, and I'm trying to nip this in the bud. All right. Jay Schwandt will join us. Okay. Yeah, I know. Funny name, Schwandt. Ha ha. We've covered that many times. Jay Schwandt, I'm going to talk to him at 8:30. Has 14 boys. Him and his lovely wife, Kateri, here in West Michigan. They started their family many, many years ago, and they just started having boys. Many boys. 14 boys. And as I remember when they had just 12 kids, it was a big deal when they had boy number 13. And then Kateri got pregnant again, and they had boy number 14. And when all these amazing births would happen, the news would be all over it. And I kind of was able to establish correspondence with Jay. And so I would have him on the radio. And then most recently I had him on the podcast when it was announced that Kateri was pregnant again. Okay. And so we have the conversation, oh, man, maybe it's going to be a girl. And he's like, yeah, probably not. We are just predominant. We always have boys. It happened. Okay. Just the other day, a beautiful, beautiful baby girl was born to the world, to the Schwandt family. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe it. The Schwandts had a baby girl. Oh, this is so spectacular. This is amazing news. So I'm going to get Jay on the phone here. And Maggie Jane Schwandt, which is just a terrific name. Maggie is old school. I love Maggie. Jane, they spell it Jayne. And she's got her little hat on with her bow, and it's the first time Jay and the family have experienced something like this. A beautiful baby girl. My gosh, is this fantastic. This makes me so happy. God, was that just a breath of fresh air to hear that the Schwandts had a baby girl. Ah, holy crap. I cannot wait to get Jay on the podcast. I've got the wonders of nature to discuss with you. I'm thinking about opening up a new segment. You have Celestial Excitement brought to you by MB Distributing. But the wonders of nature and stupidity. I've got that. Former, I guess, Trump advisor Steve Bannon. Was that what he was? Steve Bannon, you might remember that name. Well, he's a fucking moron, and he won't be on the internet anytime soon. I'll explain that. That's all coming up. But first, this freaking nightmare that I had. And truth be told, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get to everything in the order that I had written it down. But boy, just a lot to cover today. But this was pushed to the front of my brain. And I woke up and eventually I had a conversation with Diana. She goes, are you going to talk about this on the podcast? And I go, well, yeah, begrudgingly, because it's just fucking terrible. There has been a big rush on marriages of people that I know breaking up. And it's really been frightening to me. And I don't care for it. Looking back at my old show, despite the strained relationship over the years, which between Greg and I and Steve and I, the relationship seems to have been smoothed over. There's a lot of looking back at my old show that the three main guys have either been divorced or are going through one right now. And the big one was Greg. I did not expect that at all. I was shocked and very upset by that, and I couldn't believe it. And so I've been thinking about that. And then a very, very, like, my most dear friend on the planet, I got some really, really bad news that there's real trouble in that relationship. And I'm like, whoa, okay, this is just, I'm seriously. And I'm watching and listening and paying attention, and I see the anguish and the pain in their eyes, and the most recent one, it's being initiated by the missus of the two. And so it's just, I hate it. It makes me so upset. And then, so I don't know what was going on, but last night in my dream, I swear to God, driving through the hills of Tennessee. By my side, the queen of the forest. And she dropped the hammer on me in the dream. She said, I want to get a divorce. And it actually is upsetting me just saying that, even though it was a freaking dream. Oh my God, it was just horrible. Now, I don't remember a whole lot more than that, other than it was vivid as hell. And I was so wrecked. The idea that me, who without her, I am just an absolute disaster. I'm like a dog walking around that's lost, scared. Oh, it would be so stinking bad if that were like a reality. Oh my God. Oh, I can only imagine. I mean, I'm at a loss for words about it. So I wake up and it's 5 a.m. and I'm like, okay, that was a dream, but I was still extremely upset. And to make matters worse, she's not in bed with me. Oh my God. She ended up having to sleep in Madison's bed because Madison spent the night at a friend's house. Did you ever spend nights at friends' houses when you were in, like, during the school week? No, you wouldn't do that. You get your ass kicked by your parents. But whatever. She's going over to her friend's house. So that means that because Bruce normally lays in bed with her, Bruce, the French bulldog, and with Madison. And, you know, she goes, well, somebody's got to sleep with it. Bruce got to sleep in your bed, Dad. And I'm like, oh, fuck, man. He's an asshole. He moves every 3 seconds. He scratches you. It's just, and he snots on you. Every time he breathes, snot comes out of his nose. So I go, Diane, I can't do it. So she sleeps in Madison's bed with the dog. So I'm alone. I'm like, oh my God. And I almost got out of bed, went into the room and said, honey, can you imagine if she'd be like, what are you doing? Shut up. Go back to bed. So I just lay there, and it just stunk, man. Oh, horrible. I laid there till about 6, just suffering. And I needed reassurance that she wasn't going to leave me. How ridiculous is that? It is a fucking dream, you asshole. Oh, it was... Oh, my God, my fragile brain is so, I mean, I'm fine, but it just takes so little to make me an unbelievable mess. I didn't weep, but I wanted to. I was like, God, the brain is such a disaster. So finally, it's time to get up. And I get up, I go, like, okay, it's time to get up. Okay, hey, Bruce, how are you? And I'm in the room, and I go, you won't believe what happened. I tell her this dream, and she was just like, oh, she's giving me it was the best hug ever. Oh my God. Seriously, if any of you right now are going through some type of trouble like this, I really feel bad for you. I hope that that's not the case, man. Oh man, I would be such a disaster. I don't want to even think about it. Oh my God, man. So that was it. That's where it kind of ended for me. Okay. I'm thankful. And then I'm like, you can't ever do this. You cannot ever leave me. And she's just laughing in my face about my stupid dream. Holy crap. Folks, if you caught me on Patreon yesterday with the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast, we were back at it again with another show from right here. And I want you to check it out. You're like, I don't know, Zane. I don't know if I want to do that. I don't want to spend the $5 a month. That's fine. I totally get it. What I want you to do is check out the free view that I have wherever you download my podcast. It'll show up there, or it is there right now. I uploaded it last night, the free view of the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. Okay, check that thing out. If you like it, you know what? Just 1 month. Commit to 1 month. That's all I'm asking you to do. Sign up for a month. Hell, you can sign up for the month and then give me the $5 and then cancel it. Okay, that's fine, because, if it stinks, and I hope it doesn't, you definitely should. But I give you so much material there, and hopefully it'll be something that passes the sniff test of you. Patreon.com/Eric Zane. You got 5 bonus Patreon podcasts every day. I'm sorry, 5 a week. You got the Lost Zane recordings, which just dropped this morning from WBBL. Full shows from 2016 and on, all the way up until the bitter end. Not to mention the Smarter Than a Former Drug Dealer trivia game with Dale, the Insane Asylum, and what else am I forgetting? I don't know. It's all there. Patreon.com/Eric Zane. Horizon Hydroponics, thanks to John and Bridget. They are the best. HORIZEN, hydroponics.com. No matter what you are growing, because we have just started the indoor growing season, as the outdoor growing season is in the past. You want to grow indoors? They have everything you need at Horizon Hydroponics, HORIZEN, hydroponics.com. Buy it online, orders $250 and more. You're going to get the shipping free. Use the coupon code Zane Show at checkout. That'll save you 10%. And 4 locations in Michigan here. On the west side of the state, you've got Alpine and Grand Rapids, the Growers Outlet in Byron Center, and then Kalamazoo, Michigan, and Lansing, Michigan. Horizon Hydroponics. Okay? Excuse me. The managed IT service provider for the show is Blue Frost IT. That reminds me, I got to pay my bill. Sign up for a monthly service contract. Then you're covered. Okay? It's an insurance policy for your tech. If your business has tech, and they all do, what in the world is going to happen if something goes south? Okay? Well, I don't know. Somebody knows a little something about computers. No, that's probably going to make it worse. Okay? You need to have a professional, a managed IT service provider. Just like Joe Martinez is a service professional for heating and cooling, you need a service professional for your tech. If you're in business, this is not negotiable. You have to have this. All right? Reach out to them, 616-200-8550. It's as important as your employees. Because I'll tell you right now, if your tech blows up, the only thing you're going to do is lose money. Don't let that happen to you. I mean, seriously, if my computer equipment puked on me and then suddenly I can't podcast, that's how I'm losing money. And I don't want that to happen to you. So reach out and get some pricing. Okay, that's all I ask. 616-200-8550 for my pals over at Blue Frost IT. I cannot wait to get into more about the election. I will save that for after my conversation with Jay Schwandt and his amazing story. And, I think I need to go over the tail of the tape. When it comes to Jay and Kateri, they have 14 boys. And then all of a sudden, Kateri gets pregnant again. I'm not entirely sure about the ages of the kids, but when you've got 14 boys, you know that some of them are, really old. The age range of the Schwandt family is incredible. And so it's really a thing to see Jay and his 14 boys. And then you have sweet and lovely, the matriarch, Kateri Schwandt, right here in West Michigan. And then she gets pregnant again. So she is alone. She is the only female of this ragtag bunch of God-fearing, sweet, lovely individuals that have been gracing us with such good news over the years. And anybody who knows these people knows that they are the real deal. They are absolutely amazing self-starters. And completely just a fantastic family with great values, and they're just absolute winners, every single one of them, top to bottom. I am very, very proud to be able to know them. And then out of the blue, we discussed this last time I talked to Jay when Kateri got pregnant again. And, we had the conversation with the what-if scenario. What if Kateri has a girl? And we expanded on that and pretty much left it at, well, that's just not going to happen. I mean, and I'm sure we'll discuss that here. But the odds are really, really good that the child would be a boy. And then the news started to roll in yesterday that the Lord had a different plan. And I am so happy to hear, and was so happy to hear that a healthy mom delivered a beautiful baby girl. That is Maggie Jane Schwandt. And we bring Jay in right now. Unless my phone screws up. God, I really got to improve this setup here. Damn it.
Hello, you've reached the voicemail of Jay Schwandt. I'm sorry I missed your call.
Great start.
Please leave a message.
Oh, my God. How could this possibly be? Hang on. I sent Jay a text this morning. Said, reminder, I'll be calling you. Yeah, sure. No problem. Can't wait. Sweet. Talk to you soon. Hang on. Let me try this again. I could always just sing some more, guys. Okay. Can you imagine if I dropped a GD or something like that?
Hello.
Hey, Jay, how are you, buddy?
Good. Good morning, Eric. How are you?
Never better. Never better.
All right.
I can't tell you how happy I am with this news, Jay.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And we feel the same way.
Let me start by asking, how is Kateri, please?
She's doing great. She's doing great. Actually, we just had breakfast delivered. It's like a little vacation here for us at on the 9th floor at St. Mary's Hospital. But yeah, it was different. You know, the experience was different. She ended up with a first, not just a girl, but an emergency C-section. So the recovery is a little bit different. So, but she's doing well.
Had there been C-sections in the past with the 14 boys?
No, never before. Everything has gone according to plan for the 14. So
my gosh, Jay, and you and Kateri did this the old-fashioned way. You didn't find out till day of delivery, yes, of the gender of the child.
Correct. Yeah, we like the surprise. There are so few surprises left in this world. That's one that we always kind of bank on. So,
Jay, this is the story that the world needed. You realize that, don't you?
And it's cool, you know. We've gone through this obviously a few times in the past, and quite often there's a lot of just negative, just nasty people out there. And I think people are just sick and nasty because every single hundreds of comments from people we don't even know have all been cool. They've all been nice, you know, joking around, you know, your typical stuff. But it's just I'm so happy, so relieved that people are actually nice. You know, it's refreshing.
Side note, I it's shocking to me that there would ever be anyone who was doing anything that is not sweet based on your family leading up to this. That's really, really bizarre.
Yeah, and it's people that don't know us, you know, these crazy assumptions. All 14 kids, that's irresponsible, and you know there can't possibly be enough attention to go around for all of them, and that they're probably on welfare, and you know just all the people that don't know us. And I always say, come and hang out with us for a day or two.
Exactly.
You know, it's cool.
Yeah, come and watch how we've built our family, because your oldest son is what age again, Jay?
28. Tyler is 28.
Okay, so you look at the boys who are well into adulthood, and they've become kind of like in the setup as in addition to brothering, they're parenting along with you. They're helping another. Can you imagine? Because when we were very young, you and I had examples of our father. And now all of your very, very young boys and now your young daughter have examples of not only their father, but what can happen to the awesomeness of those brothers who are living amazing lives in their own right. You know, it's really reinforcing this terrific family that I just love.
Yeah, thanks. There's a lot of responsibility there, you know, not just for me, but for the older brothers, you know, and we couldn't do it without them. I mean, here we are, you know, at the hospital here, and you know, we'll be here a little longer than normal just because of her recovery time. And, you know, things continue. We've got hockey games in Kalamazoo and basketball games all over the county this weekend. And big brothers have stepped up to the plate, you know, and actually are looking forward to helping out. You know, Drew's taking Charlie and Luke down to Kalamazoo for the weekend, and Zach's taking Wesley to his basketball game. And, you know, it's a team effort for sure.
I've got 1,000,001 things to talk to you about. I'm sorry about this, but
I got all day, man.
I find you and the family to be some of the most interesting people on God's green earth, and every 9 months I got to have a conversation with you. So
it seems like it.
And it seems like there's always something new to talk about. And what's popping on my mind right now is with all of what you just described, getting people to places. Does it require a really, really good calendar keeping? I mean, how does that? It seems like, I mean, I can't even keep track of myself. How do you do that?
Yeah, that's a mom. That's a Kateri thing. We do have one of those gigantic whiteboards, dry erase boards at home, because it's not, you know, this is a busy time of year because, you know, they're all hockey players, and, you know, football, we have one on the varsity football team and a couple that play basketball. And on top of that, you know, there's a million dentist appointments, especially now that, we went for 4 or 5 months where you couldn't do anything, with the lockdown.
Yeah.
So, dentist appointments and doctor's appointments and, sports physicals and just, the calendar is crazy, she has different colored markers for, different kids and stuff like that. It's really kind of cool. But I'm terrible at it. I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow. I have to get the update, I have to be briefed every morning on, who's going where and what's going on. So.
Okay. So can you take me through, you are in the operating room when Kateri is having the emergency C-section, correct?
Kinda. So it was crazy. So, we've again done this before and she knows kind of what's going on, so we're at home and we had to go pick up 2 boys from hockey and 2 different basketball practices. And she's like, okay, we're getting close, but let's get this done. Let's get everybody picked up, get dinner taken care of, and then we'll go to the hospital. So I got back from running around and she's like, oh man, I hope we didn't wait too long. And I was like, no, man, I don't want to have a baby in the front seat of the truck,
Yeah.
So we cruised up to the hospital, got here. We were literally here 15 minutes and her water broke. And then we're like, holy cow. But the baby was like sideways. So that, that was the reason for the emergency C-section.
Okay.
So they whisked her away, gave me, some scrubs and stuff, and basically just kind of left me behind for a little bit. So I was in the dark. It was just scary, and then I finally got to go into the operating room, and it was, a first for both of us. Right. And it was just super scary. The baby came out finally, and they whisked her away to the NICU, because there was some complications. It was just a scary situation. So
Maggie comes out. Were you there right when she emerged?
Well, I was behind the curtain. I'm not much at all for blood and gore, and stuff. So I was behind the curtain. And one of the nurses said, okay, do you want to come over? And she had a total poker face, because of course, most of these nurses have been around us, over the years and stuff. And I went over there, and of course, I've got a mask on and I'm all covered up in scrubs and stuff. Thank goodness, because I cried like a baby.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, do you want to, announce what it is? And I looked, I'm like, oh my, I was like, oh my God. I just started crying,
Holy crap, Jay.
Crazy. Then I had to go on the other side of the curtain and tell Kateri, and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even know what to, I'm like, it's a girl.
Yes.
It's a girl.
Oh my
God.
Yeah,
it was it still hasn't really soaked in. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. Crazy.
Jay, this is, I don't even know where to begin. And I'm just some guy. I can't even begin to express how this feels. And for you, it just must be so compounded to finally it's here after a little girl, after so many again, the 14 previous are all the greatest thing that has ever happened, every single one of them. It's just you're so used to the idea that it's going to be a boy, and then it's happened. So my God, Jay, so as it all started to unfold, and the baby was born yesterday at about 11 a.m., right? Or was it earlier?
Let me think here. The 4th. So I think that was Wednesday night at 11 p.m.
All right, 11 p.m. I got none of that right. Right. So Wednesday at 11 p.m., Maggie Jane Schwandt comes to town, and then you had to tell your sons about this. How many were at the hospital with you when this all happened, or could COVID make it so that they couldn't be there?
Yeah, this one's different because nobody, I'm the only one allowed here. Generally, she has the baby and then all the brothers come up and, take pictures and meet their brother, So yeah, none of that is allowed, but we've got this family group text, and we were going back and forth, and it was wild because it was so scary, and I was trying to update the boys, like, yeah, this is not going well. I'm trying to be careful.
Yeah.
Not going according to plan. They just took mom to the operating room for an emergency C-section. Of course, they're all going, oh man, what's up? So we did not, by the time it was all said and done, so she had the baby at 11, and then there was a lot of other stuff, to take care of, fixing her up and putting her back together,
Yeah.
So by the time we actually got back together, the two of us, because I went down to the intensive care thing with the baby just to see what was up and stuff. And it was, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning before we finally sat down and looked at one another and said, holy crap, can you believe what just happened? So we waited until the next 6 a.m. the next morning to tell the boys. And then we did a FaceTime thing with the little boys yesterday. So the older brothers are at home, helping out, getting the little guys off to school, and they were all lined up on the couch. And we did a FaceTime with them yesterday morning to kind of announce to the little boys. And of course they're in shock too,
Dude, it's just, my gosh. And so now that this is the 15th child and the first girl, I always ask you this, does this put a bow on the baby making? Because it's
yes.
Does.
I waved the proverbial checkered flag yesterday. One of my buddies on Facebook said, okay, man, is this it? And, we thought it was it the last time, but yeah, I mean, given our age and this is what a cool finale. You know what I mean? It hasn't. I have no idea what we're going to do. You know what I mean? I mean, we're so excited, but everybody always said, what in the world would you ever do if you had a girl? And I'd say, I just assumed medically it wasn't possible. So I wasn't even worried about entertaining the thought, so, but yeah, crazy, but so excited.
So you said you weren't entertaining the thought. There wasn't anything tickling your brain leading up to this. You didn't even consider it. It was the shock of a lifetime.
Yeah, 100%. We had not even discussed a girl's name, or we literally, and this sounds crazy, we literally do not own one single baby girl piece of clothing or anything. You know what I mean? So it's as crazy to me as it is to most other people looking in on it.
Okay. So. Now the last time I spoke to you, I remembered we were kind of fantasizing about what would happen if, I think I spoke with you right when the pregnancy was announced, about what would happen if, fast forward in the future, when now Maggie brings home a boy for prom or something like that, and the intimidation factor, and we laughed about that. Well, it's gonna happen, man. It's gonna happen, and years down the road, you will be able to experience and see the look on the face of the boy who wants to take her to the dance, and how intimidated that kid's gonna be. You got to have every single boy there for that moment, Jay.
Oh yeah. Oh, well, unless she goes to the convent and decides to profess her faith and become a nun. That's an option as well.
That is an option. So it's either life just like any other girl, or nunnery. Sure.
And we're kind of at this stage, 2 days into it, we're leaning toward nunnery.
Okay, so I can understand that. You got to do what you got to do.
It will definitely, when that day comes, it's just the whole story. Can you imagine, 14 brothers, the poor dude that comes over, hey, curfew's at 10 o'clock. He says, okay, we'll see you at 9:30. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. So.
Oh my gosh, this is I can say that in a year where basically all of our lives have been just dumped onto the floor, and we have to pick up the pieces. This is the first story that I've really been able to get the feeling that life is going to be okay, because life is very good, life is wonderful, and your family shows that, and time and again it's been like this, and that's what makes me so overjoyed by how this story has kind of taken hold, Jay. Seriously.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and it's cool. I don't even have words. You know what I mean? It's amazing, and in a year that has been such a cluster, such a debacle. Why wouldn't this have been a girl? I guess I should have known, with everything as crazy as 2020 has been.
Yeah.
I should have seen this one coming,
Yeah, my gosh. I just love it. What else did I want to talk to you about? There's so much going through my head right now, but my wife, Diana, she goes, come here, I got to talk to you. And normally when she says, come here, I got to talk to you, that's something big. I mean, I've done something, or something bad, or something really gigantic has happened. And boy, it was gigantic, because she said, you won't believe it, the Schwandts, they had a baby girl. I go, oh my gosh, I cannot believe it. Seriously. Holy crap. Now, when you started having, when the boys started to pile up, at what number did you start to get attention from people for this as a story? How many boys in?
It was 12. It was 12, up, with number 11, business as usual. And it was, of course, cool. A big story. Wow, 11 boys, but no media, no nothing, which, was cool. That was just how it was. And then with Tucker made 12. And I think it was Fox 17 called and just said, hey, I heard you had 12 boys. Wow, that's crazy. Do you mind if we just come up and do a little story, and talk to the boys when they meet their brother? I'm like, oh, no, that's cool. That sounds neat. And then boom, it was on from then. And with this one, we've done stuff over the years, of course. And with this one, we didn't do any, we've got the 14 Outdoorsman thing on the Outdoor Channel, which is actually rolling now. And it's cool, but that's just us. That's us. Ty, our oldest son, does all the filming and editing. And it's just basically us sharing our outdoorsy family videos. But we didn't do anything leading up to this. We didn't, interviews and stuff like that. We were quarantined for the first 3 or 4 months, of the pregnancy and stuff. So that wasn't an option, but 12. So this will 12, 13, 14. So this will be like the fourth one where there's hoopla, surrounding it.
Right.
And this one's so different though. You know what I mean? Just the story of, this crazy family with 14 boys finally gets the girl. I mean, that's neat.
And I'm glad you brought up the show 14 Outdoorsmen. I want to talk about that in a second because it looks great, by the way. Ty's doing an awesome job.
Yeah, he is.
But with this, it was okay. So it was a big story when, people started to spread the word when boy number 12, when Tucker was born, and then 13 and 14 boys, same thing. And now this though, since the birth and since the story, it's starting to spread now everywhere. Who have you heard from? Who's coming out of the woodwork? And can you tell me what that's like and them reaching out to you?
Yeah, it's been pretty mild so far. Again, yesterday was day one. So, but all the local ones, and we've kind of formed some pretty cool relationships with them over the, like Fox 17 and ZZM and TV. We know people there now. So, you're the first one though, man. You're the first one we talked to. So, but with the COVID thing, it's not like they can just pop in and say hi, or whatever. So
it's different. Yeah.
It's Zoom, we're going to talk to some of them on Zoom. WWJ Radio over in Detroit, Michigan News Network. I love talking to people about it. And I'm so excited and so like happy and proud. I'm like, we're so proud of our family.
Right.
So I talk to people all day about it,
That's
it's
awesome.
just neat,
Awesome.
So, but yeah, I think I would imagine because Fox 17 put a little thing on like their website last night or something, and actually the Free Press has a sweet article, and somebody just forwarded it to me this morning, and the title of the article is like a boy, comma boy, like 14 times, and then and a girl, and the article is nice. I think they talked to Ty. They must have got a hold of him on the phone yesterday, and got a couple quotes. But the article is just so nice,
that's
and
great.
It's just like cool. So
so has there ever been a printed article like an article that the article itself was not that great? Because you
no. Not really. There's, it's kind of the aftermath of some of it. Okay. And I'm just trying to think, we've seen some printed stuff. And, geez, I don't even know how to say it, but, there's in today's day and age, obviously, especially politically and, all this stuff, there are so many assumptions out there, like, oh, these crazy, whatever, pick a side, far left, far right, whatever, where, like I said, I don't even know how to say it. People just assume like, oh man, they're overpopulating they're singularly responsible for overpopulating the world, or they just assume, I'm so middle of the road, man. I would make the worst politician because I am literally like so middle of the road. But it's far, people on the extreme opposite sides of the middle, that give us a hard time, so people that don't know us.
Really strange. So, it's really, and it's a bummer because those people are really missing out on some awesome stuff, You know,
Well, that's what I say. Come and hang out with us
Yeah.
for a couple days, man.
It's not what you think, and your family is absolutely just a pillar, as they say in the community.
Thanks.
and
Thank you.
well, lots of pillars.
Yeah.
The now, do I say MOTV or MOTV?
I think it's MOTV, My
Okay.
Outdoor TV. Yep.
My Outdoor TV, and that's associated with the Outdoor Channel.
Yeah, so it's the Outdoor Sportsman's Group, which is a big umbrella. Outdoor Channel, Pursuit Channel, MOTV, the app. All they have tons of It's just it's like the biggest outdoors group, you know.
And
so lots of stuff.
They have that covered, and then they reached out to you guys, and you guys said, "Hey, we want to do. We love doing stuff, hunting turkeys, hunting deer, whatever it is." And there's so many of us. And your son Ty is very good with this. Started shooting video, writing, editing, producing content, and then posting it. It's all turnkey. Basically, you're a dream come true for them because you do all this cool stuff and they really don't have a hand in it. So other than
it's been awesome. So we, probably 2 or 3 years ago, we bought some video stuff, and Ty actually has been to school for it, like film production, editing. He went to this advanced editing stuff. So he's like, he knows what's up, and we just started filming ourselves. Basically, we went on this, so we went on this trip up to Northern Ontario. I mean, we've done some cool stuff and we're documenting it, and we got to talking to, through some mutual contacts and stuff, the folks at the Outdoor Sportsman's Group. And yeah, it was a mutual thing. We're not making a dime on it, but they're our foot's in the door, and it's just so cool because we've done, we did the Lifetime documentary. We've done some of this other stuff in the past where it's totally, I don't want to say scripted, but they tell us what to do. This is just us being us, man.
Yeah, I love that.
It's just, we're basically sharing our home videos just at a little higher level, you know?
Yeah, it's a really high-end video blog is what it is. And when it's done right, which Ty knows what the hell he's doing, it's gonna move. And that's all you want. You want to be able to tell the story through video, and he's obviously got that down.
Yeah, and there's some cool stuff coming up. I mean, so they actually every Friday they pop an episode out, and it's a subscription thing, an app or whatever. So the first one was just like a quick, like 4 or 5 minute introduction, like, hey, we're quarantined up here at the farm, it's cool, here it is. And the one that came out today was called Unusual Easter, and it's us. We were quarantined at the farm during Easter, and that's a huge time for us. We're a big, Catholic holy family, and we had to make do. We couldn't go to church. We didn't have our huge kitchen to make, the Easter meal at and stuff. So it's cool. But the next one is I think what the Outdoor Channel people want. It's, we were quarantined up there during turkey season, and it's the first like real outdoorsy episode, but it's still all about the boys, and it's funny. I mean, I have 14, but there's like fart scenes and funny
scenes.
Yeah. I mean, you got 14 boys. There's got you got to throw.
I love fart scenes.
Yeah, and they did so, and they helped us. We had it in there. We're like, man, I'm not sure how that's going to go over. They're like, no, this is gold. As a matter of fact, they had to slow mo the fart in Wesley's reaction. So Wesley, bless his heart, he's such a cool little kid. But his teeth are like 3 times too big for his mouth. He'll grow into it,
Of course.
So they slow mo like his laugh, and with his teeth, it's cool.
Oh my gosh!
So,
I love it.
And they've allowed us to basically just do whatever we want, and we do them and send them in. So yeah, it's been fun, and again, it's on our terms, man. So
that's the best part. That is the best
produces. Gets it all ready and sends it to them.
You have so many people that if you're stuck at the farm for Easter, you can do like all the Stations of the Cross with everybody. And now you got like Mary Magdalene too. I mean, it's we got it covered. Oh my gosh, this is so great. Yeah, and you said so if I go to motv.com, I can see it there, right? Is that
and there's a free trial. I don't know how it works. It's kind of crazy. So we've had, like, my dad, he's like the the patriarch of the farm, the hunting guru, and he was so excited, and we didn't tell him he had to pay for it, so he's kind of pissed. He's like, hey, I thought I was going to watch this on TV. You didn't tell me I had to pay for it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Dad, just throw down $10 and watch it. It's cool.
Wow.
So, but I think, we had talked to them before this about doing like a full-on show around the first of the year, and then, this whole pandemic thing hit and it just put the brakes on everything.
Right.
So we feel very fortunate. I mean, they're giving us an opportunity, they're like, hey, we'll put your stuff out there and for people to see. And it's, like I said, it's neat, because everything is all, like the boys, you know what I mean? It's like we took that trip up to Northern Ontario. We took 6 of the boys. And we went bear hunting. So we've got like these things that will eat you. We are hunting the predator.
Yeah.
And we've got like Luke, who's 7 years old, up in the tree stand with Brandon, and these bears are, it's like the sharks circling the boat.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it's I know not everybody's into hunting and stuff,
Well,
but
still.
we harvest some bears.
Sure.
And we go fishing, and I mean, it's just neat stuff. So.
No, that's great. Have you ever been at a setting like you're talking about in Northern Ontario or wherever it may be, and someone who doesn't know you arrives like around the campfire, and you have to break the news to them that all the boys are related?
Yeah. Oh, every day here at the hospital. So I'm kind of taking a side jaunt here, but we went. So the baby, was struggling a bit, and they took her down to the neonatal intensive care unit, and I get all washed up, and I go in there, and the nurses are talking to me, and they're like, "Oh, what's her name?" And at the time, we didn't have a name picked out. It was like 2 hours into this.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, no name." And I said, "No, we really didn't expect to have a girl." And they said, "Oh, is this your first one?" And I kind of looked at her and I said, "No, as a matter of fact, this is our 15th child, and she has 14 brothers at home." And they said, "Well, no wonder you didn't expect a girl."
I would think if I was the nurse, and I would think you're lying. I was like,
a lot of times they do.
Holy crap. Oh my God. Well, Jay, one more thing. You mentioned your father is there I wonder if there's a chance, because do you have any grandkids right now?
We have one granddaughter.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder,
Luciana.
Well, with 15 kids, I'm not sure of your dad's age, but if he has a really long life, he could have 100 grandkids and great grandkids before it's all said and done.
Yeah, true that. So he is, 72, and I had one younger sister, and she has 3 boys. So until a couple days ago, they had 17 grandsons, my parents. So I'm thrilled for them. You know what I mean? My mom is so excited. She's at the house with the boys right now. My mom, Grandma Mary, is at the house, kind of holding down the fort, spoiling them to death,
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, so this is, I mean, the daughter here, the girl is cool on a lot of levels. My parents finally have a granddaughter. So.
You are a walking Bible story. Your family is a living, breathing, walking Bible story. Oh,
that's true.
Oh my gosh. I'm Jay. I appreciate the time. Thanks for taking so much time. I apologize for taking so much of your time.
No, we have nothing else to do today. We've been sitting in the hospital room. We got a couple more days. I think we go home tomorrow. So
okay. Well, my best to Kateri and the boys, and I'm just so happy that Maggie is here, and I just enjoy it, man. And I'll talk to you down the road, and I hope to be able to see you as soon as the dust settles here. I've never really taken a trip out to see you, but I would love to do that. I really would.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Okay, Jay, thank you so much. Okay, pal?
All right, man. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Congratulations and God bless.
Thanks again. We'll see you.
See ya. Oh my gosh. How about that? Can you believe that? Oh. I can't get over it. The whole idea that 14 boys are there, and then out of the blue, here comes Maggie. Oh, I needed that so much. I hope you did too. I hope that story makes you go, oh, thank God we needed that. Now, again, I'm going to talk about the election in a minute, so it's going to get all shitty again. But these things need to be discussed. Absolutely. Holy cow. MOTV.com is where you go if you want to check out what happens on 14 Outdoorsmen, the Schwandt family out of Rockford, Michigan. Holy crap. All right. I do cameos, and it's been way too long since I've done one. Okay, so if you have someone who's celebrating a birthday coming up, or they have a big something that's about to happen, maybe they're about to get a promotion and you want me to roast them for the special event, or just say something nice. Totally up to you. What you do is you go to cameo.com/Eric Zane and hire me and tell me what you want me to talk about. Some of you just say, Zane, just do your thing. I mean, you've heard how I do it. By all means, please check that out. Cameo.com/Eric Zane. The Kent County Health Department reminds you that vaccinations are key, especially, any time of year, really, and vaccinations for your little ones and flu shots, things like that. Vaccinations could be measles, mumps, rubella, pertussis, meningitis, HPV. The list goes on and on. These are all important things to keep your children happy. Now, if you're a crazy-ass anti-vaxxer and it goes in one ear and out the other, well, screw you. I don't want to talk to you anyway. But if you're intelligent, and not a warped moron, and you need more information about how you can get those vaccinations for little or no cost, go to accesskent.com/health. Thank you to the Kent County Health Department. Okay, we got a paintball event coming up, and I've managed to wrap my mind around the idea that when I walk into TC Paintball on Wednesday, November 25th, for the noon start Paintball War number 11, the Kidney Offensive, I am resigned to basically walking around with a stack of pizzas for the pizza party from BC Pizza Grand Rapids and saying, step away, get away from me, 6 feet, setting the pizzas down with my mask on, moving away, letting you vultures eat the hell out of the pizza, getting my gun, going out on the paintball pitch, and shooting you into oblivion. If you want to play paintball with me, at Paintball War number 11, November 25th. It's a noon start. It's a day before Thanksgiving. You must reach out, eric@ericzaneshow.com, and let me know. Okay? That's not that far off. Looking forward to it. November 25th, Paintball War 11, the Kidney Offensive. This is the last thing I'll be doing before the big surgery on, December 2nd. It's not really a big surgery. It's an important surgery, but I don't want to overstate it. My brother's trying to say, hey, this is a serious deal. I go, well, I know it's serious. Because I know it's serious because you're staying in the hospital for more than one night. That's how I know it's serious. They always want to get people out. Look, I know. But it's okay. Just a little snippy, just a couple of incisions to get in there. Put a camera in there. Snippy on one artery, one vein, one ureter. Kidney in the bag, pull it out through a C-section style cut, done. Stitch me up, feels like I did abs. That's all it is. No big deal, relax. All right. I don't know how the hell I got down that road. But, how the hell did I get down that road? Probably because I was talking about it's the last thing I'm going to do before the transplant procedure. I'm not getting, just in case you don't know, I'm giving. I had some more cosmic shit happen to me yesterday that I am not going to discuss right now, but the day will come when I can discuss with you. So, another big God moment happened yesterday, and I find myself at 50 years old having God moments happen to me all the time now, but I have to kind of dig a little past the surface, metaphorically speaking, in order to find it. But I'm looking around now, and things keep happening to me that I'm like, that means nothing on its surface. But if I just brush the dust off, I'll bet you there's a story there that's going to make me go, aha. And that happened again yesterday. I can't tell you right now. There's a reason why I can't tell you right now, but it's something spectacular happened yesterday. There's been so many of these great moments. Okay. All right, so that's paintball on Wednesday, November 25th. Over my left shoulder, I'm usually blocking the sign now because I've changed my posture here on the podcast. But as you can see, that's the guy. The Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage, NMLS number 3035. It has never been a better time than right now to get a mortgage. And I know you hear that all the time, but seriously, interest rates are at an all-time low. And even if you're a person who's not going to get the super low interest rate because, life has gotten in the way and you're not going to get the greatest rate, you're still going to get a hell of a really good rate. And then after you pay on your house for a little bit and show that you're a terrific payer backer person, that's not a term, you're then going to be put into a better loan because Mario's going to do the follow-up, or you are. Hey, Mario, how am I looking now? I've been paying on this thing for a year and a half. Everything's on time. He's kind of like, yeah, let's get you into a better loan. That's basically how it works. I want you to reach out to Mario no matter where you are in the United States, wherever you get this show. And if you ever get into a spot where you need a mortgage, this is who I want you to call. 231-332-6505. Put Mario and his team at the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage to work for you. 231-332-6505. Okay. The election. I'm kind of happy that I'm not getting into this till well into the show because, starting it off that way, sometimes the situation calls for that situation. But, I had that joyous story about the Schwandt family, so I'm happy to have had that ahead of, because I would have been a bummer if I'm all worked up and bent out of shape. Excuse me. And then all of a sudden, I got to, be calm. I don't want that. But now I'm going to get wound up. Trump says if the votes that were counted, if we look at all the votes that were counted legally, if you add up all the legally cast votes, I won. You don't believe me? This is what he said yesterday with the presidential seal behind him at the podium.
This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election.
That's all. That is an old clip. Hold on.
Good evening. I'd like to provide the American people with an update on our efforts to protect the integrity of our very important 2020 election. If you count the legal votes, I easily win.
Okay. That was the thing that people are like, wait, what are you talking about? Again, listen to this.
Good evening. I'd like to provide the American people with an update on our efforts to protect the integrity of our very important 2020 election. If you count the legal votes, I easily win.
That suggestion is that votes are being illegally cast. Right away, people are like, well, okay, what? What are you talking about? What could possibly have happened? That absentee ballots, if they are postmarked on the day of the election or prior to, they count. And that's not anything new. That's old. It's been like that for as long as we've been doing elections like this. About the only thing that's changed is during the pandemic, in order to have less crowd overflow at polling places, it became less red tape to be able to do that. So as far as what it appears is the overabundance of people who voted that way, those votes being counted caused Biden to get, in most cases, overtake Trump. Doesn't matter when that the people voted that way, but they did vote that way. Those votes were cast, and everything about that appears to be on the up and up. The president doesn't think so. He's saying that there's a problem. There's something illegal going on. So if that's the case, and I'll just say this, now maybe there is. Maybe there actually is something illegal that has happened. If you throw that out there, you must be expected to be able to back that up at some time. That is a strong accusation to make. And, well, I mean, honestly, if there is something terrible that has happened, that cheating has occurred, and that is learned and proven beyond a reasonable doubt, well, by all means, that would mean what he is saying is true. Okay? And I'm not going to sit here and say that everything he says is an absolute lie. I've been down that road many, many times where I've been the one throwing under the bus only to reveal that after a little more digging, I got to walk it back. So I don't know. Maybe he's onto something. Most people don't think so. And I think that if you are going to levy that accusation with seriously undermining the entire election process, which is probably the most sacred thing for people to do when it comes to choosing our leaders in this amazing country, I don't know. I think that maybe if you had something there to play, you should have played it, but maybe not. I mean, maybe he's waiting. I have no idea. We shall see. Most don't think so. And this is Chris Christie, a ally of Trump and a Republican. This is what he had to say.
Chris Christie, it should not have to be said. Counting absentee ballots is not illegal. It is not fraud. It is not corruption.
George, let's say I've been fortunate enough to be on the ballot a number of times myself. I've won, I've lost. And so as a candidate, you're even more invested in the integrity of the system. Right? So if this stuff is going on that the president's talking about, all of us want it ferreted out because it would undercut everything that we believe in our system. But as a prosecutor, that's like asking me to indict someone without showing me any evidence. If you're going to say those things from behind the podium at the White House, it's his right to do it. It's his right to pursue legal action. But show us the evidence. We heard nothing today about any evidence.
Now, to be fair, I don't know that Trump has to, at this point in time, show any evidence. If it were me, if I was him, and I had a mountain of evidence showing that Joe Biden cheated to put him in the spot where he may very well win the election, I'd be screaming it from the rooftop saying he cheated and here's what I have to show, just to fuck it all up, because I'd be pissed off. That's just me. And that kind of lines up with how Trump would do it if he had anything. Christie here, he doesn't think that Trump has anything.
I want to know what backs up what he said so that I can analyze it. And let me tell you, if he's right, I'll be outraged, and I'm sure you would be too.
And if he's wrong?
And if he's wrong, then the American people are going to be able to make the judgment about this election that the results have been fair. And this kind of thing, all it does is inflame without informing. And we cannot permit inflammation without information.
Okay, so guy that drives truck with Trump flag, he hears Trump say that. And that's all he wants to hear. That's all he needs to hear. And my concern is, as time passes and the votes are counted, because, again, this is nothing new for people to take their time counting votes. A lot of times when you would watch an election in the past, some people, I heard people to say, well, how come in the past we would always know the winner? Well, that's because the projected numbers didn't add up, because so-and-so had such an insurmountable lead, they would call a state. And then eventually that would happen over and over again. And then the guy who's losing then concedes. And then they because the person knows that they've lost, concedes, they declare a winner. But then 3 days later, you hear the quote unquote official results, because it just took time in past elections to count it all up. That's what's happening right now. Right now, it's very, very close. Hell, as of the start of this podcast, Biden had taken the lead in Georgia over Trump by 1,000 votes. That is a margin of error. That is a clerical error. That is really easy to for that to be a mistake. Now, who knows? And that's like with very little votes left to count. So Georgia probably will have a recount. Good. It should. Absolutely. It appears that Biden has caught Trump in Pennsylvania. They're still counting a number of votes in Philadelphia, where 9 out of 10 votes are Democratic votes, especially right in Philadelphia, in the city of Philadelphia. So most agree that it's looking like he is going to lose Pennsylvania. To me, the fact that he and Laura's waiting. She says, and yeah, and now Pennsylvania. Yeah, that's what I was just suggesting. That it appears that he is going to lose that state, Pennsylvania, at least right now, until they initiate a recount. But fuck, man, I don't know. I just I think at this stage of the game that if he throws that out there, I think you run the risk of getting that group of people riled up who do things like this. like the guy in his barbecue beer and freedom T-shirt crashing the Nevada election update. This was just the other day, and it's an election guy saying, yeah, we're getting through the counting. It's a slow process, but we are getting them done, and we are providing the information. And this guy is a big Trump supporter. He shows up with his barbecue beer freedom T-shirt. Seriously, this is barbecue, beer, freedom, which actually to me sounds like three great things. I actually don't mind the T-shirt, but this guy goes in and he just walks behind the guy who's just giving an update to the press about how their counting is going, and it's been fine. They're just running the things through the fucking machine, and this maniac shows up behind and starts screaming, and everybody just looks at him. You got to see this video. I'll link it up in the comments and put it in the news of ericzaneshow.com. They all just turn around and look at him. And then the guy says the same thing about 100 times, and then he realizes he's tired. He turns around and walks away. Check this out.
We are not prepared to give that number now.
The Biden crime family stealing the election. The media is covering up. The Biden crime family stealing this election. The media is covering up. The Biden crime family stealing this election. The media is covering up. We want our freedom for the world. Give us our freedom, Joe Biden. Joe Biden is covering up this election. He's stealing it.
Where were we? What was the last question?
All right. So that's who's getting wound up here. All right. That was a strong accusation by Trump. There are a number of Republicans that aren't so down with this. Let's take a look at, Chris Christie, for one. This guy's from Texas. He's a Senator Pat Toomey. He's a Republican. Republican lawmakers and officials are pushing back against Trump's series of claims Thursday night. Now, NBC News writes it as false claims. I can't say that. I don't know. Maybe he has a mountain of evidence. I'm not going to go down the road and say he's a liar yet. Trump, I think, did shoot his wad. You better be able to back that up. If what you're saying is true, that's holy fuck. That's big, man. That's tearing at the foundation of the nation here. That would be a enormous story. So if I'm Trump, you better be able to bring that. NBC News is saying false claims. I don't know about that. Trump is making claims. He made them Thursday night about the election. Although many did not mention him by name shortly before Trump made the claims at a news conference, they write baseless claims. They don't know that. There's no way they can know that. Okay? And that's why I'm trying to be very careful when it comes to talking about this. He made the claims at a news conference about massive voter fraud in Pennsylvania. Senator Pat Toomey said in a statement that once the state's final election count is reached and certified, all parties involved must accept the outcome of the election, regardless of whether they won or lost. So if all votes are cast legally and they're just counted, and then that's the tally, okay? Unless you can prove some type of voter fraud, shut up. Toomey also called for patience on the votes that are counted, despite Trump's having tweeted earlier in the day that officials should stop the count. Speaking about the mail-in vote count, you know how disgusting of a comment that is? You and I each have one vote. We get one vote, and we can cast it one of several ways, okay? And if you did do it the right way, you got the president saying stop the count. He's telling you you're losing your right to vote. That's what he's saying there, and that is complete bullshit. Toomey called for patience. Speaking about the mail-in vote count, Trump also told reporters there has been a lot of shenanigans, and we can't stand for that in our country. Well, all right, buddy, get specific on it. Give me something here. Toomey said in a statement, all votes that comply with Pennsylvania law must be counted regardless of how long the process takes. I agree. The harshest pushback came from retiring Representative Will Hurd of Texas. A sitting president undermining our political process and questioning the legality of the voices of countless Americans without evidence is not only dangerous and wrong, it undermines the very foundation this nation was built upon, he said in a tweet. Very well said. Every American should have his or her vote counted. Representative Adam Kinzinger, Republican from Illinois, offered this. We want every vote counted. Yes, every legal vote, of course, but if you have legit concerns about fraud, present evidence, all caps, and take it to court. Stop spreading debunked misinformation, he wrote. This is getting insane. Maryland Governor Larry Hogan was one of the few Republicans to mention whom he was talking about. Quote, there is no defense for the president's comments tonight undermining our democratic process. America is counting the votes, and we must respect the results as we always have before. No election or person is more important than our democracy, he tweeted. Yeah, Trump's in the fucking weeds here, in my opinion. I think this is going to come back to bite him in the ass, and it's going to make him look very, very bad when all of the votes are counted. And then, in my opinion, I'm thinking there is no fire there where he is saying there is smoke. If there is, well, then so be it. Get to the bottom of it. But that is quite a strong claim to make from the spot that he is in. There's a fact check going around that I thought was quite interesting as well. From the exact words that the president said yesterday. Trump said, quote, we're hearing stories that are horror stories. We think there is going to be a lot of litigation because we have so much evidence and so much proof. There you go. The facts. Trump has produced no evidence yet of systemic problems in voting or counting. In fact, the ballot counting process across the country has been running smoothly for the most part, even with the U.S. in the throes of the coronavirus pandemic. One of his main complaints that counting spilled over past election day is meritless. Meritless. No presidential election has had all the votes counted the same day. Yeah, I don't know where people thought that. Remember what we talked about? It like we project a winner, and then 4 days later you get the results because it takes time. It's always been that way. There is no law or even expectation that should be the case. The surge in mailed ballots and the high turnout have made the process slower than usual in some, but not all cases. Do you realize that Joe Biden got more votes than any other candidate in the history of elections? Think about that. People came out of the woodwork for this election the same way they came out for Trump in 2016. People came out of the woodwork in 2016 and voted for Trump because they were sick of the bullshit, okay? And they made a change. Congratulations. Well done. I thought that was excellent, okay? And it was sticking the finger in the eye of fucking deadbeat Democrats who hadn't done shit for years. And you get this guy who comes in with hand grenades in each hand and blows up the whole fucking thing. That's what I loved about Trump. That's why I voted for him. But make no mistake, this is a fair fucking election. All he did, well, he did his job. He did what he's supposed to do, but he also did it in a way that wound up all these fucking people who registered to vote, and they flipped the script on you, man. Fucking take it. That's the way it goes. You lived by that same way 4 years ago. Don't be a pussy about it and sit there and cry. Fucking people responded. If maybe you hadn't been such an asshole when you were blowing the thing up with your hand grenades, you might have had a leg to stand on. But as it was, you were a dick about it the whole time. So fuck you. In Pennsylvania, Trump said, in Pennsylvania, partisan Democrats have allowed ballots in the state to be received 3 days after the election. And we think much more than that. And they are counting those without any postmarks or any identification whatsoever. That's quite a claim. Here's what happened. Quote, partisan Democrats didn't ordain this. It was the state Supreme Court that ruled ballots filled out before the end of election day could be received up to 3 days later and still be counted. The U.S. Supreme Court looked at the case and did not get in the way of the 3-day time frame. It may look at it again later, but for now, I mean, it went as high as it could go, man. What do you want to do? That's legal. Holy shit. Trump said Pennsylvania Democrats have gone to the state Supreme Court to try and ban our election observers. He made this claim in Michigan, too. They don't want anybody in there. They don't want anybody watching them while they are counting the ballots. You know how this goes, don't you? You get an election observer in a ballot counting room. And you in some small town USA, there's like one counter, there's a couple people there, and that's it. In these big cities, Philadelphia, Detroit, you got a massive room full of machinery, people wearing these yellow vests, and they sit there and they take the perforations off. They're matching a signature. They run the fucking thing through the machine. It says green light, vote counted, and that's it. There's some guy, an election observer, who will stand over and just watch and just look and just keep an eye on things. That happens. Trump is saying that the Democrats have gone to the state Supreme Court to try to ban Republican election observers, saying they're being kept out of it. And if that were the case, that'd be horrible. Here's what happened. It's not true. He's wholly misrepresenting a court case in the state. No one tried to ban poll watchers representing each side in the election. Democrats did not try to stop Republican representatives from being able to observe the process. The main issue in the case was how close observers representing the parties could get, how close they could physically stand and be part of the election workers who are processing mail-in ballots in Philly. The Trump campaign sued to allow the observers to get closer than the guidelines had allowed. And a court ruled in favor of that request. So it's bullshit. My home state of Michigan. President Trump said yesterday, our campaign has been denied access to observe any counting in Detroit. That's not true at all. Absentee ballots were counted at a downstairs convention center. That's the TCF, where 134 counting boards were set up. Each party was allowed one poll watcher per board, said the clerk. She said she was not aware of any Republican poll watchers being removed, but noted that some had been, quote, very aggressive trying to intimidate the poll workers and the processors. So you got the guy there in his yellow vest, fucking volunteer. All his job is rip the perforation off, match their ballot. And you got some loudmouth fucking dick wearing his Ted Nugent cosplay gear, yelling at him from over his fucking shoulder. Mark Brewer, the former chairman of the Michigan Democratic Party, said he was inside the convention center and access was cut off to some people from both sides at one point because of capacity restrictions related to the pandemic. Now, how that led to them making up stories that illegal votes were being cast after the election was over. In some states, the overnight swing was big. The amount of Biden votes that trickled in from all the absentee ballots, it started to be. It was a perfect storm because people wake up, they go to bed, say, "Oh, Michigan, Trump's kicking his ass in Michigan." They wake up and it's neck and neck. What happened? Well, that's all it took for them to make up a scenario that cheating took place. It wasn't any fucking cheating. You got these people that are tired of shit working their ass off trying to run these ballots through, and Biden happened to be more on them. That's why Trump was so, as leading up to the election, saying, "Oh, no, fuck this, mail-in ballots. No, you got to vote in person." Remember they had those burn your ballot parties? Remember those things? That's why. Because they knew that the Democrats were going to vote that way. Too bad. Do a better job. In Georgia, Trump said the election apparatus in Georgia is run by Democrats. That's not true. The state's elections are overseen by a Republican Secretary of State named Brad Raffensperger. The fuck are you doing, man? How? It's so easy to debunk that. Why would you say some shit like that? Concerning the state of Georgia, Trump said the 11th Circuit Court ruled that in Georgia, the votes have to be in by election day, that they should be in by election day, and they weren't. Votes are coming in after election day. That's not true. Not an accurate description of the ruling in question of what happened in the election in Georgia. Although the court ruled that the votes must be in by 7 p.m. election day for them to count, an exception was made for ballots from the members of the U.S. military serving overseas. Those can be received until 5 p.m. today and still count. Election officials in Georgia are still counting, but the votes, but that they are votes that have been lawfully received. With great ease, any number of fact checkers were able to take literally everything he said and make it so that clearly he's full of shit. Again, if he has the evidence, dude needs to present it. But my God, this is just a shit show, and I think a lot of it has to do with him. I mean, fucking A. Holy crap, it just seems way over the top in my opinion. Holy crap. All right, I will get to the wonders of nature and the wonders of nature and stupidity in just a second. But I want to remind you, if you ever want to be a contributor to this podcast, you see an interesting story like the ones that I'm going to talk to you about next, and you must send them along to me. Eric@ericzaneshow.com. I love to hear from you, and send me an email with the link to the story that you want. Please do that, Eric@ericzaneshow.com. All right. Joe Martinez is hard at work with A&E Heating and Cooling. You can reach out to him, 616-516-8579. Installing the Comfort Maker brand of furnaces and air conditioners. Joe Martinez, the best in the business. And don't forget about that $79 furnace tune-up for you. You need to do that. If it gets cold and you just flip it on, you run a risk. Something might not be on the up and up because all that time that it's idle, things happen. And frankly, it just needs to be cleaned. $79. Joe Martinez will come to your house and take care of you. When you reach out to him, mention me, please. 616-516-8579 for A&E Heating and Cooling. By the way, one more thing about the election. There's a pretty good chance that they will have a winner today. But boy, is it close. With Pennsylvania, them finishing up the counting there in Georgia, that should pretty much do it. Had Trump hung on in Pennsylvania and in Georgia, and I guess he still could if they're not done counting, that would have set the stage for 6 electoral votes from Nevada being the final puzzle piece. And it's damn exciting. It was really close. And I'm just happy and excited that we are getting this done with this pandemic going on. I mean, it took a lot of work, and there's a lot of people that should be very, very proud of that. And despite all the bullshit that happened last night, I think it's gone fairly smooth. And yeah, I wish my guy had won. I wish my guy wasn't a cocksucker about the whole thing. But fuck him. If he loses, we're moving on. You're fired. You're fired. We'll bring the next guy in. But if you win, well, good for you too. Hopefully in the next 4 years, if you catch a fucking Hail Mary, you can do it without being such an asshole all the damn time. My God, Terrytown RV, they're on Division between 68th and 76th Street. Go there, check them out online. Terrytown RV for a camper, travel trailer, fifth wheel, motorhome. They have it all at Terrytown RV. And just fantastic too, because you can check out online what you want and then go see it in person. It's very, very great and easily done. If you're worried about COVID concerns, they'll leave you alone while you go through it. When you're working out the final details, please mention that you heard about their amazing dealership on the Eric Zane Show podcast. And finally, F45 Training in Byron Center, Michigan. Their website is the letter F, the number 4, the number 5, F45training.com/Byron Center. When you go there, you click on free trial, sign up, and then you go. Okay? It's time to lose the weight that you've gained through COVID. And boy, you're going to get in great shape too. These amazing group exercise sessions with a very personal touch. They're at half capacity right now. You don't have to worry about somebody being too close to you or anything like that. And they clean the hell out of the place. So get after it. Get the lungs burning. Get the heart working. Get the muscles screaming at you saying, oh, what are you doing to me? You're getting in shape, damn it. F45 in Byron Center, Michigan, right in the Family Fair Shopping Center. Check them out and mention my name. Mention that you heard it on the Eric Zane Show podcast. Okay, what else did I have for you? I thought I had some other audio. I got the Trump clip, the Chris Christie clip, the guy Beer Freedom T-shirt. And, okay, that's it. The rest I'll save for the Patreon. Patreon shortly thereafter, after we get done with this one. But Randall sent this along, and damn it, I can't believe that this happened. No video here, and I sure am glad, because the still image is pretty much one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. And I really couldn't believe what I'm seeing, but not sure where this happened, but an amateur wildlife photographer was busy shooting still images of some of the local heron who were flying around getting things to eat. Now, a heron is a pretty large bird that, is constantly getting the aquatic life and scooping it up and eating it, grabbing a fish. Well, apparently this heron had noticed that in the water around Maryland, along the shore, that something looked delicious in the ocean. And this heron, this is a big bird, goes down and grabs it and gobbles it up. And the guy who's shooting the pictures is like, wow, what the hell is that? That looked like a strange-looking fish. And because it looked like a snake. And, well, it wasn't a snake. And he was able to figure that out because he was able to get a second look at what the heron had ate. And he was able to get a second look at it after the heron had actually ate it. Well, how in the world can the photographer get a look at something, again, a second look, after it's been eaten? Well, that's because the creature was an eel, and he figured it out because the eel, you ever see the movie Alien when the thing bursts out of the guy's chest? That actually happened. Holy shit. And we have still pictures to prove it, and my life will never be the same after seeing it. The heron is flying along, and then this freaking eel burst out of the stomach of the great blue heron that had scooped it up. What the hell? The snake eel has a hard tip for digging around the soft sand on the ocean floor where they spend most of their time. And according to this, the eel had no idea, or had the idea, to use that hard tip to try to get out of the bird's stomach, and it worked. Unfortunately, from the photographs, it seemed the snake eel did not survive and failed to complete its escape. So it's just hanging out like 2 feet from this heron, and the heron's flying with the eel sticking out of it. You got to see this. And then the heron stops on a perch, and he's looking around, and the eel's hanging out of him, but it's dead. Okay? So what the fuck? Does that mean that this heron has to fly around for the rest of its life with a dead eel hanging out of it? No, they suspect that it's not going to survive. In fact, the photographer said the eel had to, after it got out, he said he'd gone to the wildlife refuge to take pictures of various foxes and eagles and whatever else might be interesting. He watched 2 eagles and a fox that were following the heron around and thought they might be preparing to strike. So he thought that the fox, he's taking pictures of the fox and the eagle, they're getting ready to attack this heron. Then all of a sudden, whammo, it bursts out of its chest. Oh my God. So then you got a fox, 2 eagles, an eel hanging out of the heron's chest. The fox and the eagles want to eat the heron. The heron's like, what the fuck? There's an eel hanging out of my chest. But it wasn't until the dude got home, the photographer, he realized what he was really looking at. Initially, I thought that the heron was bitten on the neck by a snake or an eel. When I got home and edited the photos, I could see it was an eel that had popped through its stomach. I could see his eyes, and he was still alive. The wildlife refuge said they have never seen anything like that before. It is kind of a morbid photo. Yes, Martin Fowley, an expert from Martin Fowley is the expert, of course. That sounds like one of Ben's jokes on Twitter. He said the snake eels have been recorded trying to burrow out from fish before in order to escape being eaten, but we've never seen an image like this involving a bird. Of course, said Martin Fowley. Makes me think I'm reading something from The Onion. I'm surprised the heron is still flying with what must be a sizable hole in it. I would imagine the bird won't survive such an injury, though. I guess we'll never know. Oh, my God. You must see this. Oh, God. I'll link it up. Comments, of course. It'll be a hyperlink there. And then at In the News of EricZaneShow.com. I'm going to save the story about Steve Bannon as a fucking moron for when I'm done. And then I also have another story on the Patreon that I want to get to about hot springs. I've been to Yellowstone myself. You walk around, you look to your right, you got boiling hot spring. You got acidic water, and you're walking along on the path. You stay on the decked path there. You watch Old Faithful go crazy. All these tourists. Oh, it's awesome. You're in the caldera, and it's just great. There's always one asshole every handful of years who does something stupid, tries to get in the water and dies, or does something dumb. Someone has done something stupid at Yellowstone Park. I'll cover that in the Patreon. I'll cover Steve Bannon as a fucking moron in the Patreon. All of that coming up a little bit later on when I regroup and come up with that show for you. All right, that's it. That was a great week. Thank you so much for being part of it. I'll talk to you a little bit down the road. As always, thank you for the support on Patreon and of your time on the free podcast and supporting my sponsors. That's how we do it each and every day. Just a reminder, go to fullexposurepodcast.com if you want to check me out with my pal Brian Kelly. You can get it from his website along with video clips and get the whole podcast. And or you can get it on the audio podcast, downloadable wherever you download podcasts. You just search Full Exposure Podcast. Elemental Podcast is Stu's. Balls Out with Ben Glaze and Brett Hayes. TheBenGlaze.com is Ben's website. He's got a Patreon there. I know it's a lot of shit, but I want to make sure everybody gets a little love as best I can. Okay, folks, have a great one. I'll talk to you down the road. Bye-bye.